this a wry social commentary on modern reality television and people who are in that who just want to become famous? Or is it an excuse to have middle-aged B-movie actresses prounce around with their cleavages hanging out? Maybe the two aren't mutually exclusive. We are talking Bigfoot or Bust. This one is directed by Jim Wynorski, who actually has a cameo in the movie as well. And this one is chock full of screen queens such as Becky LeBeau and Debbie Dutch. Is there a story? Well, you know, this is clearly one which is not, particularly serious, as you can probably gather. It has a group of women who are out trying to hunt Bigfoot with a kind of the goal really to become famous on TV. We also have a couple of other people who are out hunting Bigfoot as well, and including a bunch of women from the future and other characters. What'll happen? Well, there'll be lots of singing and dancing. That's what will happen. But you can check out the movie yourself to see what it's all about. Yeah, obviously this is not a serious film. This is a kind of a comedy spoof movie. What can I say that works in this movie? Surprisingly, this movie does actually have some quite funny moments. There is some send-ups of some popular kind of bigger budget movies, including The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Pulp Fiction, to name a couple, which I gotta be honest with you, I actually found quite funny. So yeah, this movie does actually have a few kind of good gags in it. It is very, very silly, but yeah, and it's very, very cheap. It looks like this is just a kind of a bunch of friends who have thrown together a kind of a movie over the course of a couple of days, and there you go, and just kind of been fanning around on set for them the majority of time by the looks of it. But yeah, it does nonetheless still have an element of fun. And I was kind of a fan of these kind of B-movie screen queens in the heyday. So it is nice to kind of see them still kind of doing movies and kind of, leaning into that kind of like the kind of culture, which doesn't really exist so much these days in kind of the modern kind of big movies. Obviously, lots of kind of like buxom beauties back in the heydays of the 80s and stuff like that in kind of low rent horror movies. So it's obviously paying homage to those type of things as well. Yeah, and there's a good collection of B movie stars of somewhat yesteryear, let's be honest. But yeah, it is kind of nice to see them. But, that's kind of all that this movie is, to be honest with you. It's not anything other than that. Like I said, it does try and have a little bit of, I wouldn't even say commentary exactly. It's just kind of taking kind of pot shots at kind of modern celebrity culture and kind of these types that would appear on shows kind of like Love Island and The Bachelor and Big Brother and kind of things like that. These kind of fame-hungry kind of individuals who will just practically do anything for a kind of a shot at fame, and that is the kind of the main joke of this movie, which I've got to say, again, I kind of found it quite amusing. But there's not much else here. There's not really any genuine kind of story, really. There's not any type of real attempt to have any type of narrative or even kind of special effects. Bigfoot is like literally you see him in the first frame and it's a guy in kind of like a gorilla suit, and they're not pretending it's anything other than that. There's no real attempt to have any type of actual kind of special effects other than a little bit of kind of like manipulation with kind of some VFX in that half of the movie just to make women's boobs look bigger and things like that, just for a gag. So yeah, it's not a particularly deep film, despite I think a couple of good jibes at celebrity culture and stuff, as I've mentioned. Yeah, it's kind of what you expect. This is a pure B-movie, schlocky movie with no real story, no real kind of actual kind of characters, a few fun moments. It's certainly, this to me would have been, the joke is kind of funny, but it does wear thin pretty quick. Even movies which, like Attack of the 50-Foot Centerfold, for example, that had a story at least. This one doesn't. So you can kind of laugh at it, you can kind of look at the kind of the pretty middle-aged women and things like that. But the joke wears pretty thin. There's a couple of fun little kind of musical numbers in here, but you know, you've got to be a fan of, I think, these kind of like these B-movie actors just to appreciate them on screen. There's not any real kind of nudity in it as well. It's just kind of cleavages and kind of low-cut dresses and things like that. So those who are expecting, you know, real nudity and stuff, you even probably would be disappointed with this one, because it isn't really that either. It's just, it looks like it is genuinely just a load of girls hanging out with their director pal and making a quick movie on the side, just having a laugh. Not really any script involved, just kind of like ad-libbing a few kind of like basic instructions and things like that. And that's literally the film. So yeah, it's just very silly, very kind of dumb. And I have to be honest with you, it kind of outstayed its welcome. This one might have been fun as a kind of a short, in a kind of like a you know, Amazon Women on the Moon kind of style kind of anthology or something like that. But as a full film, it's hard to sit through, to be honest, because even if you're a B-movie fan like myself, the joke wears thin. But there are some funny moments nonetheless. So I will give it a 3 out of 10 for those moments, and it's nice to see you know, actresses who I could have quite enjoyed back in the heyday, just having fun. When that's clearly what they're doing in this movie, they're just piss-arsing around having fun. But it's a film, one to watch. It's fine for a few minutes, but for a full watch, it's a little bit kind of like, is this all there is? Yeah, that's all there is. 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.